button. And welcome to episode 60 of Ladies Wot Pod. I've just got that sinking feeling. My chair has just chosen to go. So if I disappear...
I love the fact that the starts of this podcast is getting more and more chaotic. It's
right. I'm back up to my full light.
Come up in the world again, ladies and gentlemen. For those
I don't know how long it'll last. I think I need a new
Liz.
office chair.
She was disappearing further and further.
Sinking slowly. Anyway, let's get on to the matter in hand. And Ladies Wot Pod, episode 60. And what a weekend of rugby we have had. I mean, there's been some really impressive victories where there was no doubt at all. Then there were ones where have we gone? This had to come out.
They'd had to come out.
The blood pressure monitor had to come out. I was in the kitchen making sandwiches because I couldn't bear to watch the last 9 minutes, but I did come back in for the last 2. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes. So, anyway, let's start with we'll do this in as we do have a list, ladies and gentlemen. We try and work to the list, but you know what we like. We do shoot all over the shop. So we'll start on the top of our list, England under 20s. Mm-hmm. And it seems so long ago. It isn't. You didn't watch it, did you? Because I was in the lovely warmth of my living room watching it.
Don't. I was in the
I did send you supportive messages.
You did send me supportive messages. Dr. Jones, meanwhile, was sat in the warm too. He was sat in the warm too. He was in the scoreboard at Goldington Road, and when someone said, "In the scoreboard, what's he doing there?" He was helping Sherpa 2 with the PA, but more of that shortly. But yeah, so he was in the warm
helping.
Too.
Yes, he did send me a picture of where he was, and I was like, "That's inside."
Yeah, it's an eerie, you know. So yes, he was.
So England under 20s, well, they were just, I can't even remember what happened. It seems so long ago. Well, I'm, again, slightly disappointed, Henry. Slightly disappointed.
You're a harsh woman, Liz.
Yeah, not really. He played very well, did our Henry. Was a blasted nuisance, but they can't, and a bit like us, they can't keep awarding it to him, can they? You know, it's sort of...
No.
It was anyway. It was lovely to. I can't even remember who did get player of the match.
Some youngster who
did.
Probably deserved it, and all of them had to battle through that horrific weather in Bath.
It was horrible weather in Bath. Yeah, it's always
Bath.
Horrible weather in Bath. Somebody, one of our acquaintances said, "How do they manage to get an international match?" To which my reply was, "Well, it's a very pretty city, so that's all right then." But I mean, it did look grim. It looked very grim there, and but well done, well done, England under 20s. All our boys got on. I think. Say, I'm doing this from memory, which is not healthy at my age.
Well, I congratulated Ollie Scola, because I bumped into Ollie on Saturday and congratulated him. I had sent him a little message, as you do, and he's buzzing. So
good.
Twice now, and he's really, really pleased. I didn't see Aidan to congratulate him, but I did see a very, very happy Ollie Scola. So that's he's obviously enjoying himself in camp.
There was some mention in commentary, I think it was this time, about Aidan, about the promise that, you know, he's of a physique very similar to Courtney, and the promise that is very similar to Courtney as well. So that was nice.
Oh, there's high hopes for Aidan. He's a very rangy player. If you think about how Courtney's physique evolved over the years, there is. Oh yes, he does have a very similar build.
He does. Once they mentioned it, I thought, oh yeah, I can see now. See what they're talking about. And I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, X or whatever, Facebook, there's been a little vignette, a film of our Henry taking his shirt off and giving it to a little lad, and this little lad just being so bowled over. And I just, what a nice boy. What a nice boy we have got there.
Yes, and then I remarked on Saturday, whilst talking to our chums, saying, I bet the kit man was really pleased with him.
That's exactly what I said.
I said, probably in Henry's case, he can have as many England shirts as he likes.
I said to the IT department, you see, I think we spent too long with Kev. The kit man won't be impressed with that. Oh, by the way, talking of Kev, we did trundle along, didn't we, to training on Thursday?
Oh, yes. And, yes, we did.
In sheep news, there is no sheep news yet.
Yeah, no, stand by your beds. Nothing to report on the lambing front.
Due on the 14th, 15th sort of time. So we'll keep you posted on the sheep news.
Yeah. But he's expecting that the bulk of them arrive actually over the rest week weekend.
Yeah, that's the plan.
But that week, the start of that week through is when it'll actually get going. So sheep news, none to report at the minute.
So to the lovely young man on the row behind me on Saturday who said how much he enjoys the pod, because where else would you get to hear about the players' parents? Where else on a rugby club pod would you get sheep news?
Exactly.
Where else?
We bring you everything. News across the club. Yes, news across the
club. And all sorts of nonsense. Anyway, so England in the 20s, trundling along, doing pretty well. And
the 2 wins from 2. Can't fault
the
that.
2 hard ones.
Yeah. The
2 hard ones.
Yeah. Poor old Italy, though.
Poor Italy, and our Eduardo. What a lovely story that is, though, Eduardo's story.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a really good story. And we're very lucky to have him. And I know, Hoppers, because he spoke to us a couple of times, has high hopes. I think the only sadness in the fact that he's playing for Italy under-20s is he won't be in this weekend's final.
Under-8, yeah.
I don't know who they're playing in the final, but more of that shortly. Perhaps I can look it up while we're on air. Yeah. So Italy, unfortunately, hit a bit of a speed bump and were beaten by Wales. But England are sailing on serenely.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
on a mountainside, on a mountainside in Bedford. Well, who would have?
So, Bedford Blues played Bristol Bears. It was a mix, as it is very often in these games, of youngsters, some quite experienced players from Bristol Bears, and some first teamers. And Bedford had a few Saintsmen in the team. So dear Nathan Langdon started and played absolutely brilliantly. It was a horrid night. It started off as a drizzle and it got steadily heavier and heavier and heavier. So we were all very damp by the end. But it was a fine victory for the Bedford Blues. And given that they had a 5-day turnaround...
Yeah. Well, even more remarkable, the IT department of this parish bet on Bedford. Now, for those who don't know, my IT department's betting history probably runs at 95% wrong.
Put it this way, bookies plan their holidays off the basis of who Paul is going.
Occasionally he gets it really right, like betting on the draw for the Lions tour in New Zealand. That was very useful, and he bet on Bedford. So we went and ate that last night.
Yes, £1 apparently turned into enough for a meal. Well, there you go. Yes. That's very good.
I think it was £2. To be fair, it was £2.
It was £2, right? Okay, yeah. £2.
Not completely mean.
So, but they played some really, really good stuff. It wasn't that it was, it was. Their defence was awesome. Really, really, really hard-working, gritty, get stuck in, and they just rattled Bristol, who were not, you could see, were just like, what's going on here? This isn't what the script is. They scored some fantastic tries, including the last one, Fred Tuilangi's, was a good old-fashioned dive from a flanker over the line for the winning score. But it was brilliant, utterly brilliant. And it was great to see so many of the lads there. So, supporting the team. It was really, really good. And Douse and Vesti. Douse congratulated me on how well I played. I thanked him.
Yeah, he retreated to the Borough, didn't he, for the second half? Yes, he did.
So he was on the balcony in the first half, and he realised how hard it is to actually see anything when you wear glasses in the rain. Yes, welcome to my world.
Yes.
So he retreated to the Borough, which, for those of you who don't know what the Borough is a bar at the bottom of the hill of said slope, and it's the perfect place to keep one eye on what's going on in the England under-20s and the other eye on what's going on the Goldington Red slope. And he was in perfect position to see Fred score his try. Congratulations to the Bedford Blues boys. It was a red letter day for me because it's the first time I've ever had a hug off Mikey Raya.
Yeah, you said. Wowza.
I said 5 years. 5 years, Mike. And so big grin. No, he thoroughly enjoyed it, and rightly so, because this is what the Premiership Rugby Cup is all about. The little teams taking the scalps of some of the big teams, and and huge enjoy. The 2,700 people who were at that game loved every minute. Well, I imagine some of them didn't, because there were Bristol supporters there, but the majority absolutely loved what was happening in front of them. So congratulations to everybody at Bedford Blues, because that was an outstanding performance, following it up from getting that try bonus point at the Rec the previous week. So well done. And they are flying in the championship. They are second to Ealing's top. And below them are the only team that have applied to be in the Premiership, Coventry, and they came.
Which brings us neatly to
Saturday.
They did come to the Gardens, and I think that made them realise that not only do they need to up their ground, they also need to up their rugby for Premiership status. Again, the Coventry supporters have met absolutely cracking group of people. They are just some of the most delightful supporters I think we've had through the gates. They were so...
They know their stuff. They know
their stuff. They know their stuff, but they were so... They were all them loving the Gardens. Oh, isn't this a grand stadium? And mind you, I haven't been to theirs. I can understand why they would do that, but...
Butts Park Arena. Now, let's be fair on Butts Park Arena. You didn't see it in one of and it's better days. We were watching in a deluge. So
we were, yes, and the mud. But yeah, it was. But no, they were a great bunch of supporters, and we had fun because it was a community game, so there was all sorts of stuff going on.
And Bernie, cool. Didn't the club do that really
well? Bernie had a pup with him.
Yes.
Didn't he?
Yes. And Pete Nuttall had a junior friend. There were... I love the junior groundsmen and their forks. They were very good.
I didn't notice
Dr. C was much taken with them. So, all in all, there were lots of... It was the attention to detail of everything, as usual, with the club, which was just brilliant. I had two guests on Saturday who joined us, Becky and Gary, my friends from Arizona, who had actually seen the Saints play at the Stonex. We had to apologise. Not the best ground. And they were very keen to come to the Gardens. So they're over in the UK for other reasons. So they thought while they were here, they would find a match and come along. And they sat in the cinch stand, and in the lower part of the cinch stand. So they were very close to the play, and they absolutely loved it. And before the game, they went in Bernie's Diner. So, and met Mr. Dependable and the Ginger Ninja, Mr. Hendy.
Wow, that's lucky.
And they were utterly charmed by both of them. They what lovely young men, said Becky. And I said, yes,
They are, though. They are.
They are.
Mainly.
Yeah. They also met Big Trev and Robbie.
Oh, yes, Robbie has lost his crutches.
Robbie's lost his crutches. He lost them a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
And he's a much slighter Robbie than he was. He's lost a lot of weight, as they do. It was only Georgie's arm, in the case of Mr. Furbank. But Dr. T confessed that none of the three of them understood what Big Trev was explaining to them. So my two guests from Arizona were a bit lost. They said he was lovely, but they didn't understand what he was saying.
I think that's possibly, that's possibly Big Trev's unique selling point, really. He's lovely, but we haven't a clue what he's saying. He could be insulting us all roundly the whole time, but he just comes over as lovely while he's doing it.
Yes. But again,
what do they think he was explaining to them?
I don't know. There wasn't. I mean, Dr. Jones said so. Maybe what he. Bear in mind, Becky and Gary are still getting to grips with all the terminology. Because they watch NFL. Of course, it was a big weekend for them with the Chiefs and the Eagles. Well done to the Philadelphia Eagles, who beat the Chiefs convincingly.
That wasn't supposed to happen. I don't think that was in the script.
I believe, yes, it was supposed to be Mr. Mahoney's third, but it turned into an Eagles win. So, they tight ends, they're fine. Linebackers, they're fine. But locks and tight heads...
I'm sorry. You lost me. They're tight ends. What are we talking about? Yeah. Who? What? Yeah.
Yes. So, but they thoroughly enjoyed it. They absolutely loved, and of course it helps that Saints scored a few tries at their end of the ground. It always helps, and they just had a really, really good day out. So thank you to everyone who made them so welcome, because they really enjoyed it.
So Saints tries.
So many children in the ground. It was
lovely.
It was a lovely, lovely day. Lots of smiling kids having a great time. And
there were balloon modelers, there was sign painting, face painting, Bernie Steiner. There was all
there
sorts
was a brass band somewhere in the crowd, but I never actually tracked them down.
The horn blowers or whatever. Yeah, that's what they're called.
Yeah, they were lovely. Yes,
they are fantastic. But then this, as you say, suddenly you'd hear them and you think, where the hell are they?
Well, Graham accused Lenny of hearing voices, and then he suddenly heard it himself.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Oh, yes, Lenny had dragged himself off his sick bed. For those of you who missed the Saints show on Wednesday, Lenny was not well. He was coughing badly, and his place was filled very ably by Beef. So when I saw Lenny arrive, I went, did Beef do too well on Wednesday? Are you a bit worried? And he said, no, yes.
But, I mean, Beef did have... I mean, it's not often that you have to segue from Kierkegaard, Danish existentialism, to Craig Wright on the Saints show. That's quite a
Do leap. No, I don't think it's that much of a leap, really.
It's not
talking about a hooker.
I associate it with Angus, absolutely. I don't believe it's very high on Craig Wright's list.
No, I don't think so at all. But yes, an existentialist crisis for Craig Wright. What would that be? Give us some suggestions, folks.
Anyway, Dr. T's assessment of Kierkegaard is he's a bit up himself. So there you go. So the game... was played in very chilly, damp conditions. Not as damp as the previous night, so I had dried out. Thank God.
But it was cold. It was ever so cold.
And it was a wrap-up warm game.
It was bone chillingly damp, wasn't it? It was.
Fortunately, a lot happened all the time, so it wasn't that they were, there was action throughout the game.
There was lots of action,
lots and lots of action, and Coventry came to play as we thought they would. I hated their strip, pink and.
Oh, it's very strange.
Yes.
Very strange.
There's this thing about pink at the minute, but anyway, which has been going a while, but there you go. But they played really well. I think they went after Saints, as they did in the November game. I think they decided to give it a lash, and they kept us on our toes.
Mm.
And I think it was only when Tom Seabrook scored his try that we started to think, "Oh, okay, this is okay."
Yeah.
But I'm rushing ahead. Rather because I think there were tries obviously for Josh Kemeny and Angus Scott Young.
Yeah,
it's not often. Yeah, when was the last time? Actually, I'm going to show you. I'm going to for those of you on Spotify, I'm going all visual again. But when was the last time you had a celebration photo featuring? Oh no, wrong one. Here we go. 3 Australians.
Oh yes. Yes. Charlie doesn't look like he's celebrating much there.
Well, I think he's trying to catch up. You see, here you go.
Oh, there he is. There, yeah.
He's having a hug.
Oh, there he's having a hug.
And then Ed Prowse, late as usual. I got there as fast as I could.
Yes, bless him.
Yes, but yes. So I was thinking, I can't remember the last time we had 3 Australians. In that sort of There you go.
When was the last time we had 3 Australians?
Well, quite. Somebody will know, but
Somebody will tell us.
Somebody will
3
tell us.
Kiwis at any one
3
time.
Kiwis,
That's quite
many
common.
times,
but
not
3 Australians now.
So then we had, I think, one of the funniest tries of the season. And if we had a maddest try of the season, it'd be right up there. And, of course, it's this bloke.
He even does a sort of semi-hitch kick in his run.
I know. It's ridiculous. So
mental.
Toby Trinder, formerly of this parish, is thinking, shit, I'm not going to catch up with him. That's not happening. And so
TJ is thinking, I need to get out of the way, going to be trampled.
Yes, after Josh Kemeny's faux pas earlier in the game, silly boy.
Yes.
So here you go. He's starting to accelerate, and he's thinking, "Oh,
Charge.
Somebody's going to come and get me in a minute. I'll go this way instead." Here we go.
I'll do a bit of a body swerve there.
A little bit of a body swerve. No, you're
get
not
off
stopping me. Get off me.
Get off me.
Don't you? Yeah, no. And so I'm just going to keep going.
You can get off me as well.
Now, number 14 on the right of the screen is thinking, "Oh, am I going to be able to stop him? I'll have a go.
I'll look as if I'm trying."
It's not.
And that is just, will you all just leave me alone?
And then
there we go.
There we go.
Cracking try.
Absolutely cracking try. And then a big grin. I don't know what this guy here is the guy looking imploringly at Anthony Woodthorpe is thinking. I've no idea what's going on there, and I don't think Mr. Lockett cares.
No. Yeah,
there we go. But I think that wins the maddest try. I mean, Tarek had a go.
He did. Yeah. Tarek was very close.
Yeah, Tarek had a go. So it was a Tom Lockett special try.
Oh, I've just had another thought about it being the community day, and when they put the players' names up, and instead of
pictures,
so
cute,
absolutely hysterical. Billy Pascoe with the eyebrows. It was just brilliant.
Those eyebrows are going to get him out of so much trouble. They're going to tackle somebody one day.
Yeah, as I say, my dad was infamous for his eyebrows. But yeah, it was that was another fantastic touch. So those who weren't there, it was when they put the team up on the big screen, they'd had children draw pictures of the players, and some of them, well, they barely looked human, to be honest, but others were a bit closer. So Billy Pascoe has been noticeably.
Now you knew it was Billy from that drawing. Whichever child drew that, you got it spot on.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. So we had a few notable moments, and we do need to think about our Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match and the Sergeant Wilson Award. But before then, Billy Pascoe got his first try for the club.
Yeah,
thanks
he did.
to Tarek Afar's, George Makepeace Cubitt putting Tarek away and Billy having the presence of mind to follow him.
To be there, yeah.
And then Tom West just decided, I'll just trundle over and score a try.
Just trundle.
A
trundle. Just do a bit of trundling while I'm here.
A top bit of trundling, got the ball down. Yeah. So number one
trundling
for.
I will just trundle over here and stop me if you can.
Here, score a try. Home for tea and medals. And then we had a debut. Our dear friend Beltus Nonley, formerly of Sedgley Park, Saint number 2108, made his debut. And
they did all right. Did all right, did the lad. Yeah.
He did all right. Huge smile. Yeah. Now, what that meant was we had a collection, a gathering around the bin for the Shoe Army song.
Yes.
So this was interesting. And I might even inform our Ladies Wot Pod Player of the Match. Jake Sharp was this week's coach. So remember, the last home game, it was James Craig. This week, it was Jake Sharp who was leading events. I'm not sure I've heard as many F words.
What more even than when Lewis?
Like, ooh, it's slightly different to Douse. Douse does put a few in, but this was, wow. Jake was on fire.
This was, as somebody said, the only man who could put F in the middle of it. Yeah.
But he was passionate. So he those of you who were listening to Radio Northampton, Radders, clearly the coaches were talking to each other. Of course they were talking to each other. But anyway, they had clearly colluded because I think they thought Finn Brown had won his best game. Really excellent game for Finn. Fantastic carrying throughout the game.
I thought he had
Charlie Savala had an excellent game too. So it was Finn and Charlie. Obviously, actually, let's see. For those of you on Spotify, I'm going to do it again. I'm afraid I'm going to put the a picture of who is around the said bin that they gather around for the Shoe Army song. So, let's have a. Actually, I'll start off with a. You can see Mr. Jake Sharp. There he is, waxing lyrical at the front, and the boys are clearly listening to him because that's what they're supposed to do. And then, hello. Let's see if I can get. Here is the gathering. You can see Beltus. Douse was very keen with taking his boot off. I mean, Jake hadn't even said anything. The boot was, So, yes, Yak was the fourth man. Yes. But you can see Beltus has the key corner, the one where you get the most on the video. So there he is.
Yeah.
He's got his boot in his hand and he's giving it loads. Bless him.
He was giving it large, wasn't he?
He was giving it large. Notice Robbie is in the background, for those of you.
Yes. And
the
halt and the lame on that back wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it was much singing around that. And there's Ollie, Mr. Scola. He is.
Yes.
Yeah. There was much...
Callum.
Much singing. Mr. Archie Benson, I thought had an excellent game.
I thought he had an excellent game as well. Yeah.
But there is much singing. Angus giving it loads as usual, and look at Fergs. We're getting full emotion there from Fergs. Yes. So so Beltus led the singing. And rightly so. But before Beltus led the singing, Jake Sharp nominated Charlie and Finn and Yak. And the room waited expectantly, looked at each other, and had to start singing, Beltus, Beltus, Beltus. To which Jake went, Come. I think he was about to have a riot on his hands. Beltus was duly summoned to sing, and rightly so. So it was a very, very upbeat changing room, as you would expect. Because I think, again, a lot of the lessons from Welford Road the previous week have been learned. Those guys, Billy Pascoe is playing up against internationals the previous week. And, he's taking all that learning and into this game. So he's had 2 starting games in the green, black and gold at 19 and doing...
I thought he played himself into the game really well. I thought he was... You could see him relaxing as went on and didn't look out of place at all. I think
no
right, lad.
And I think Finn Brown, absolutely. Finn had a difficult game at Welford Road, and again he clearly sat down and went through with the coaches, sat down and went through, did his review, and his carrying was so much more effective against a really gnarly, nasty back row from Coventry. Aaron Hinckley is a difficult customer to deal with, and Finn, really put it about the place very, very effectively. So
I was impressed with Finn. I thought, he was everywhere. It seemed he was
absolutely he was. The coaches this week. So last week we had Ferbs and Coles, and there was still much chuntering about the fact that what was it, Colesy said? Ferbs didn't really want it. I had him. So it was Ameka and Chunya this week doing the coaching with the forwards, and good to see. They were working at training earlier in the week, and it continued on to match day. And I think that's great that the lads are working together so closely. No, really, really good stuff. So who are we going to pick for Ladies Wot Pod Man of the Match?
Well,
It's a toughie.
It is a toughie because there were so many sound performances there. I thought Gus was really solid.
Having a ball. He was just having loads of fun. I got the feeling.
And he was, because he was skipper, wasn't he? And he was skipper. He did it really well. I thought he was good. Billy Pascoe, I thought, was super. Finn Brown, likewise. I mean, one of those 3, I'm thinking.
I think I'd go with Finn.
I think so because he's I was going to say he had an unfortunate start to the season, didn't he? When I say we, obviously not us, you and I, somebody dropped him in training.
Yes, harsh. Welcome aboard. Oh, we've dropped you.
We've dropped you. And he's been playing for Bedford, and he's been biding his time, and I think he's again learnt, as you say, from last week and making the most of his opportunities. And I think Finn.
He's having a very similar career path, which is not, in some ways, not surprising. It's a very similar career path to Sam Graham when he arrived. Of course, from the same place, because he came from Doncaster Knights too.
Yes,
and Finn I think has realised that he's got a lot to learn and a lot to listen. He was one of those, along with George Makepeace Cooper, who were in that horrific game at Chinner. Finn played at Chinner.
Yeah.
So he's gone from playing in the soupy mud of Chinner to playing really well at at the Gardens on Saturday. So he's had to learn incredibly fast. And I think he's doing it really, really well. He's applying himself in exactly the way The coaches always talk about what we want is the lads to listen and be coachable, and I think Fin is proving himself to absolutely be in that mould. So,
and actually, shout out to GMC George Makepeace-Cubitt. I think he's
doing well.
Watching him growing and learning, and I think for him playing outside of Tom James must be really useful learning as well, because he's played so much with Archie, and now to play with Tom James I think must be really good for his game. But I thought he can pull the strings really well. He played well.
And there are little errors that are still happening, but they will do, because he's early in his career.
He's 20.
So absolutely, I agree with that. Strong mention. Now, we've got a very interesting
Sergeant Wilson.
Your good self for the Sergeant Wilson Award.
Well, yes, it was quite an interesting.
Took himself out of the reckoning and then brought himself back in again.
So, I thought Angus was making a very early bid for the Sergeant Wilson Award. By the way, he was, even as captain, negotiating with the referee. I thought he was being, charming Aussie, delightful,
smiley,
nice, smiley. If it's all right, sir, are we doing everything? Are you getting the right picture, sir? All that sort of. I thought, you're making an early bid for the Sergeant Wilson Award. But then, when there was an incident with Tom Lockett where he was high tackled by their number 8, I thought their number 8 was lucky on 2 counts. A, he only got a yellow card. B, he didn't meet Tom Lockett's mum on the sidelines. I think there's possibly got away with that. So whilst Tom Lockett was being mopped up, he had to have 3 stitches in his lip, which he showed me later. But I thought,
I know they were horrible, weren't they? It's like,
I closed my eyes. I managed to hide behind his dad, so I didn't have to see it. But but so whilst Tom was being the blood was being staunched, as it were, the referee was dealing with the Coventry number 8, which Tom, I don't know whether he didn't know about, or anyway, he had words with the ref. He said things to the ref and stomped off to be stitched up. And he was not a happy bunny. No. Anyway, the ref then said to Angus, as though Angus is trying to, just sorry about that, he didn't see. And the ref's going, well, he shouldn't speak to me like that, yada, yada, yada. And Luke Green got involved somewhere in this as well. And because I heard...
quite a meeting.
Quite a meeting. I heard Mr. Woodtop say, I know he's your mate, but, you so I don't know what he'd chipped in. Anyway, it all calmed down and play carried on. And then so I thought, well, Tom Lockett, you have ruled yourself right out of Sergeant Wilson Award. I don't know what award you've put yourself in. It's not Sergeant Wilson. However, when he came back on the pitch, he apologised to the referee and said, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. And the referee was a bit iffy about it, but that's not the point. Tom Lockett apologised and said
he did the right thing.
He did the right thing in the end. So my suggestion for the Sergeant Wilson Award is Tom Lockett, just for
another award winner
and ruling himself back in.
Yeah, done it again. We awarded it to Tarek at Harlequins for Player of the Match and Sergeant Wilson Award. And now we're doing it again. Oh, no, we're not. It's Fin. What are you on about? Oh, God.
I don't know what you're on about. I'd go, lost the plot. Plot is lost. No, Fin Brown's player of the match.
Player of the match and Tom Lockett.
Yeah. Tom Lockett could have been player of the match. It was, we could have picked everywhere. Just about any,
He was everywhere.
Cracking player. And much to Chenya's delight, he told you.
Yes. Well, he's obviously coaching him well, that's all I can say.
Obviously, yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, it's good to see.
It was a cracking 5-point win. We go to Lady Bay on Friday.
Romance, wall-to-wall romance on Friday, isn't it?
We're going, to, again, we need to win to top the group, hopefully, and that will secure us. But I'm not going to say. I'm not going to tempt fate. But we would hope to go to Lady Bay for another cracking game. And apparently, Liz Tyler tells me I've already got my accreditation. They were very quick off the mark. Yes, I'm already sorted for that. But slightly later in the day, it was England versus France. So whilst you were being in the kitchen at home, I was on my way home via my friend's hotel in Cambridge. We headed to get something to eat from our local takeaway, and I started getting loads of messages, and it got rather persistent, and it was like, so we were doing the Lightly Lads, if you remember, anyone remembers that?
Yes, trying to avoid the
score because we recorded it, and I just thought, sod it. It was when the lady said, it'll be 25 minutes before we get served, and I thought, I cannot hang out for another... Yes. So,
we listened to the first half as we were driving home from the Saints, and then we watched sort of the end of the first half, beginning of the. I was actually able to watch quite a lot of it because I didn't expect us to do anything. So I'm a bit more relaxed about England these days. But when the last 9 minutes, I was just, oh my God. This I can't watch. So I did go make a sandwich in the kitchen. Not for me, because I couldn't eat at that point. I did eat later, but because we were going out to a Mozart concert, which was actually just what you needed after the blood pressure stretching of the England game.
At the Wavendon Stablays.
At the Wavendon Stablays. Very lovely it was too. So and then just Elliot Daly and Finn with nerves of steel, just knocking over that conversion. Just why though? Sorry, that came out very loud. I do apologise. What the hell? Why persist with the floppy one when it's obvious his kicking was off? Why not give Finn a chance sooner?
So I think there are a number of things I don't get. So I get that they're using the Henry Slade howitzer kick. He's a bit like the Nick Beale of the current squad. He is famed for having a pretty hefty boot, so I get that for the long range kicks to touch. Not that they were going particular. I think the weather did play a part, so we'll let Henry off there. I don't get why Marcus Smith should have played fullback, and Finn should have assumed all the duties of a fly-half. He's the general on the pitch. He should have taken the kicks. He should have just been in charge, because it looked like it had that sort of look of, Finn, we've only given you a bit because we don't want to upset Marcus. You know,
yes,
it's like,
very much
for a game of soldiers. Finn Smith, you're the man. Should have been the
do your stuff,
and it should be in the next game. He just does everything, and whoever's fullback does the fullback stuff. I thought Fremo's try was just a thing of beauty, and how many times have you and I witnessed them practicing that? Sometimes with that really funny thing that they get to wear. So the little it's not little, it's huge. It's like an outfit that Tom Bullock puts on. As if they've got somebody climbing on, and the idea being that you can leap salmon-like in the air to catch it. Yeah. And Fremo grabs the ball, goes in to score. It's classic, Northampton Saints.
As they said on the commentary, that's straight off the training ground at Northampton Saints. And I said to the IT department, I've seen them practicing that on the back pitch.
Yeah, and the reason they can do it so easily is because they practice it over and over. And Fremo practices the jumping whilst Finn is practicing putting, the ball on the money, which he did. The thing they've talked about is that he grew into the game, and then Dr. T and I were talking about this. Finn grew into the game in exactly the same way he grew into the game in Limerick.
Yes. Yeah.
He learns lessons incredibly quickly.
So fast.
Decides how he's going to bring the team with him and win the game. He's a master at it. And so what we witnessed is what you and I, on Saturday, what you and I and all the Saints supporters have seen so many times, is a young man knowing how to assess the situation and what to do about it. Now, there was the added he was carrying that number 10 shirt that he's always wanted. So half, he described himself as being a bit rabbit in the headlights. By the second half, We had the Fin.
He was the Fin we know.
All love. We had the Fin that we all love, who was doing what he loves doing with his mates.
And we had the Mitch that we know as well.
We had the Mitch that we know. We had, for the first time, Mitch and Fin are playing together.
And the difference it made. So you had
speed of ball.
He didn't have to wonder where Fin would be. He knew where Fin would be. The length, everything. It gave that sort of microsecond that's so important at international level. So much more time. And watching, and Fin's distribution of the ball, that for Elliot Daly's try was such a thing of beauty.
To hold the man and bang the way it goes.
And actually bang on so that Daly comes on the ball at such speed, and it's right there in the breadbasket. Fantastic. Such skill that young man has. Oh, I'm ranting in a positive way. But it was an absolute joy to behold. And to have his mentor commentating, doing the summary as well with Wilkinson there was and Brian O'Driscoll spotted. I mean, he said last season, didn't he, after the Munster game last season, that's your international fly half. That's who you want. And he went and nothing. I was going to say I wouldn't put past Borthwick though to put Marcus back there because Marcus has had a tantrum who knows.
One would hope that Marcus doesn't, because he is hopefully a team player. I think the other point was the one made by Dawson, who of course he was doing the Radio 5 commentary, and he said the difference is when it's close and they've got to go after the game at the very end. With Marcus is thinking about how do I win it?
How he's going to do it himself, yeah.
A deft dodge there. It's about, in his head, it's about how do I win it? How do I bring some little magic dust to make it happen? And sometimes he does, and that's lovely. Fin doesn't think that way. And in Matt Dawson's mind, that's the team thing again. Fin is thinking, how do me and my mates win this game?
Yeah.
And that's why... that last move, it could flow as well as it did because Fin wasn't thinking, how do I win it? He was thinking, how do we win it? And Marcus is an exceptionally talented young man. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
And he suits Harlequin's game plan, their bonkers game plan, down to the ground. And he may suit there may be times when that little bit of stardust is needed by England, but it usually isn't. I was looking at the tens across the weekend. So you're doing Tomas Allen, who had a really good game in. We'll skip over Wales, bless him. I don't know what was going on there, but Tomas Allen had a really good game, really secure. Jalibert. Oh dear, something went a bit wry there. Yeah, and Ramos, who of course they move him around. He didn't have his best day at the office either.
Fortunately, none of them did they?
Well, it was it was very, very strange.
Very odd.
Of course, Finn Russell was injured in the Scotland game, but the first 20 minutes, because he was on the pitch for 21 minutes, he was anonymous. He was not having his best day. It was very, very strange. The one that's confusing me is Ireland, because I can't see what they see in Prendergast. I can't see it. I mean, I've had the rugby special Prendergast explanation, and I'm still not buying it because I don't get it. And maybe they'll go, well, you're not an Irish supporter, so you don't care. But in some ways, I don't care. I genuinely, if they're going to persist with him, I don't get how he brings that very talented Irish team to win. Now, he's very lucky because he's surrounded by people who are a lot more experienced than him. And the machine just keeps trundling on. But if you're going to look at tens across European rugby, I think Finn is the one you can see is going to give the most to his team. But what do I know? It's all part of the fun. It was brilliant having 4 Saintsmen on the pitch. It'd be lovely to have more. And they're seriously, there could be more.
There could be more.
Could easily be more. But it was great to see that we get that cohesion that we've been looking for. It was also great to see that Damien Penaud got the full Mr. Angry treatment from Ollie.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Oh, I thought you've made an error there, lad.
Yeah.
Monsieur.
We were
you
well
should
up
not have done that.
But yes, well done, Ollie. Ollie's defence, brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, really good. Really, really good. So it was a great weekend and England are right back in it again. And of course, we've got a rest week in the Six Nations this weekend. And then Scotland come to town, which is going to be very interesting. They're going to be licking their wounds.
They will,
see what happened. We wish Darcy Graham well. It was a really nasty clash of heads with Finn Russell. Very, very nasty. And we wish him well. And hope he's back playing in the blue shirt of Scotland soon.
Can I just say, just think about Saints' influence on Radio 5 Live. The ex-Saints were very strong. So you'd got Matt Dawson, you'd got Ashley, and you'd got Grace. Grace was down there on the touchline. Yes. There was a lot of
There was a lot of saintly input, yes. On Rugby Special, you had Chris Jones, Ashton, Ugo Monya, and actually Joe Marler at his funniest. He was very, very good, particularly when they were trying to do their. What's your assessment of the situation? And he'd go, I don't know, really. His assessment of the Scotland game was, I'm gutted, mate. I'm gutted. I wanted Scotland to win, to make a thing of it in 2 weeks' time. But yes, so I think Joe has brought his own unique talent to that show. But yeah, it was great to see. It was great at last to hear more saintly influence in some of the assessment of what was going on the pitch, and it was good. And particularly Grace is such a cerebral, deep thinker of the game that I mean, even he was apologising, saying, "I'm not just saying this because I am a former Northampton Saint." He kept saying that, which you never get from the Thatch one. Anyway, but it keeps.
He did. There was something, and I can't in the first half. And he said, "Oh well, what England need to do now is it was a line out. Need to do this, and this." And I think we might have. Did we score from that one? Anyway, whatever it was, they went back and Dawson went, "Well, there you go, just like Grace called it."
Brilliant, well done, Grace. Yes. Yeah. Towcester under 7s and 10s.
Oh, yeah, we have short reports. It was very cold. Very cold. So, shall we hear from them now?
Yeah.
Granny Ginger. So I scored 5 tries and got 3 tries and 3 tags, and that was really, really easy because I just needed to run in the straight line and put the ball down.
Oh, is that everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Today's games were very hard, but I got very cold and then started to cry, but I continued playing, and then we climbed up a hill.
And what did you do to help your team when one got injured?
Oh yeah, and when Max got injured, it was me and Grayson who helped him off the pitch.
Anything else? Did you do any tackles?
Yeah, I did some tackles.
Did you help with any tries?
No, not really.
Okay. Is that everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, they were brief, weren't they?
They were brief.
We've gone back to back because they were so brief.
They were so brief, but it's quite simple to score a try. You just run in a straight line and put it down. That's how you do it.
Did he coach Elliot Daly on Saturday? Anyway, yeah, moving on. Well done, gentlemen. Well survived. Well battled on. Very good. Well, walking rugby was being demonstrated in the High Performance Centre on Saturday.
No, it's definitely not a high performance centre when we're in there. But yes,
the barn then
takes an hour off.
It's all well in the land of the.
Oh, it's going really well. I don't know if I mentioned last week that I think I did about this this funding they've had from the mental health thing. So that means that now sessions are only £2. So, please come along. We had 15, I think, at Thursday's session, which is absolutely lovely. Was it 15 or 16? I can't remember. And I did the whole session and lived. Look at me. No, that's no after effects at all.
I'd be very proud of you.
I know. I will have to tell him. So, so please come along on a Thursday. If you look on the Saints website, you can sign up. Just turn up. We'll sort it out if you just turn up to the barn for 6 o'clock on a Thursday. It's just so much fun. Really, the more people there are, the more fun it is. And of course, the barn's so big, we can always have 2 pitches because we don't use full-size pitch because that would be silly. So come along. It is tremendous fun.
Excellent. Saints Supporters Club?
Yeah. We Jim, our ambassador, I think he met up with the Coventry Supporters Club on Saturday. He was certainly looking for them. And we are just trundling along now. We've made our donations to the Wheelchair Rugby and the Foundation. And there'll be something coming up about that. Of course, and we are combining with the media team from Lightning for the Lightning Player of the Season, because it's a curtailed season, so it's all a bit so we thought, rather than, and because it's still quite niche, rather than spreading over 2 awards, we've sponsored, it'd be our award, but Lightning Media.
That's really good. That's really good. No, that's brilliant. Well. Is that it? Have we done everything? I'm going to have a little bit of a media corner, if that's all right.
Oh, yes, we haven't had a media corner.
Yes, for a bit of Tog cornering. Because I've somehow managed to supply Premiership Rugby with 2 of the 4. There were four groups in the Premiership Rugby Cup. Maybe there were 5.
5.
I didn't realise I had. But if you look in Bedford Blues group, it's Will Maisie. Congratulations to Will on his 100th cap for the Blues. And then in our group, it's Tom Lockett scoring his try. So well done me. I didn't even know I'd done it.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Naughty Premiership Rugby. Yes.
I was just thinking about we had a quick chat with Tom Seabrook, didn't we, to see if he'd managed to get a watch for having a try of the...
I think I was stirring the pot a bit at training, because I said, I'm sure you used to get a watch when you won the TSO try of the round, and apparently they don't get one anymore. He did say
he got a medal, a teddy, and we went...
He called it. We said, do you mean zebra?
Do you mean a zebra? Yeah, zebra. It's called Dazzle, is it? Yeah. Well, where? More importantly, I said, where is it?
It's the Dazzle.
It's in the spare room. Oh, it's got a room of its own.
Yes,
I suppose it has. Yeah. Curtis's had a room of its own till Nathan moved in. So.
We also told him we don't think this year's Dazzles are as good as last year.
No, they're not as good. They're a bit weird. They look like a dog toy.
No wonder he called it a teddy. Anyway. He scored a lovely try.
He did.
Very nice try. Yes, put away by him.
So, anything else in media corner that we want to mention?
No, not really. It was a busy day with the cameras. Poor Adam Gums had a list as mile long of taking photographs of small children.
I sent him towards the balloon modeller. I said, there's 2 there. There's 2. One of them's from Leicester. Don't use him. Yeah. Use the other guy.
So yes, Adam had a very long list of things to do. Bless him. Can I just say what our unique selling point? So, players' parents, Finn's parents were well chuffed.
and his mum was, yeah.
Yes,
Very,
absolutely.
very pleased.
What a day. Yes.
What a day, she
What
said.
a day. Yes, indeed. Yeah, no. And good luck to them. I mean, because they've probably earned it, all the miles and pitches they stood next to in the rain. So enjoy the moment, the pair of you. Yeah, no, it's good to see. But it never stops because we've got more games this weekend. It might be a Six Nations weekend.
We have.
We do have more games. The Premiership Rugby Cup reaches its final group in the group stages. Saints are at Lady Bay in Nottingham. That's where I'll be heading on Friday night, along with your good self.
Indeed.
Mrs. Saunders. And then I get the delights of Oney Field. That ground changes its name. It used to be Dillingham Park. It's now Oney Field. Home of Ampthill. Going for a wander through the woods on Saturday.
Why is Ampthill called Oney Field then?
I don't know. But it used to be Dillingham Park. I mean, whatever. Anyway, we're going for a walk in the woods.
Oh, yeah. So you're off to Ampthill on Saturday.
On Saturday. And then on Sunday, I've just applied for my accreditation for the under-18s final at Kingsholm.
Oh, at 7:00 in the evening. What a stupid time is that?
Well, it's finals day, so they start at 9:00 in the morning, and they're playing their playoffs all the way through the day. So ending with the final at 7:00.
Right. Okay. I won't be there. I've got a busy weekend because obviously going to Nottingham on Friday, then meeting up with family with baby granddaughter on Saturday. Then we're coming home because I'm on Towcester under 10s or under 7s. They're playing in different places, so I'm doing the other one.
You're on granny duty.
No, they're not playing in different places. One of them's got a social booking.
Oh.
Yeah, one of them's going to a party. So I've got to deal with the rugby with the other one. I think that's the way around it. I don't know. I'm doing something that involves one of them. One of our Towcester mini rugby correspondents. So
well, there you go. Okay, that's my other phone that I didn't put on silent. I apologise.
Oh, it's yours.
I put one, not the other.
Yeah. So there we go.
So there we go. And a fantastic weekend of rugby, and another one ahead of us. The season just keeps on rolling.
It does. So episodes.
We do have to give our very best wishes to poor Archie McParland.
Oh, yeah.
We won't be seeing Archie again this season. A breakout season for him. But he's had an operation on his shoulder. We wish him well. We hope he gets better soon. And we can watch him tearing up the place when he comes back for pre-season. Again. I'm sure he will. Yeah. But yeah, so get better soon, Archie.
Yes, and we will see you soon on the sidelines, if nothing else.
Indeed.
So that, I think, Mrs. J, is episode 60 of Ladies Wot Pod.
Ladies Wot Pod.
And just to say, actually, I feel we ought to make a point. There is another podcast claiming to be the only podcast not of former players, which I think you left a message saying you're not the only podcast not of former players. So have they replied?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Oh, okay. So anyway, this is a podcast not only not of former players, but not of men either. So
yes.
So well done, Ladies Wot Pod. Episode 60 in the bag. Come and see us soon, everybody. Keep saying hello. Keep telling us what you like about the pod. Sheep news, parent news, whatever it is. Please let us know.
Yeah, we haven't had Pikelet news for a while, but he is on England duty. So
he's on England duties outside of my remit. We will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.